All right. Hello and welcome to the second video in our series on how to make more money and have a lot more fun hosting, co-hosting, investing in Airbnb properties. Let's jump right into it. I want to start off right where we left off in the first video at the end of it. There is, you'll remember that we talked about kind of the three different core areas that you need to optimize in your Airbnb or short-term rental business in order to start making more money, and the different activation points of optimization of going through finding what works, creating a process around it, automating and then outsourcing. And then we started to touch on marketing and or acquisition for expansion. So in this video, in the second part of the series here, what I really want to do is I want to break down all of these sections here, and then we'll start to talk a little bit more about how to actually implement it for yourself and how to also then start leveraging marketing and expansion for growth to really grow that portfolio once you have got it running the way that you want it to. So I told you before that there was 3 A's to each different section of optimization, right? What I call the 3 A's of property optimization, the 3 A's of listing optimization, and the 3 A's of pricing optimization. And that is the what, right? So I wanted to really actually just show you what it is that you need to focus on so that you can understand the what and the how, so that you can actually go and implement this stuff and start making more money right away. So that way you don't have to fumble around in the darkness trying to figure out what actually works. So we're just going to show you exactly what to focus on so that you can achieve the result. So let's start with property. So at a property level, I found that there's 3 main things, and I worked really hard to make them all start with A, that drive your actual performance, that help you to make more money. The first is how many people can actually be accommodated comfortably in your property. Naturally, if you have a higher occupancy in your property, you're going to be able to attract a higher nightly rate because those larger groups are willing to pay more, and you are going to have higher occupancy in your property because there's just more demand. You're going to be able to cater to those groups of 2 or 3 that you were before, but also cater to groups of 4 or 5 once you expand the accommodation capacity of your property. So that's the first one. Now, as far as how many your property can comfortably accommodate, that varies from property to property, but that is definitely a big lever to pull on the property side of things that's going to make a bigger difference than most other things. Certainly, it's going to make a bigger difference than, if you upgrade the stove, right? If you get a better, more high-end stove versus if you can find a way to comfortably accommodate more people, that one's going to pay off. That one is where you actually want to invest the time, the effort, the money. The next is going to be amenities, and specifically amenities that are going to enhance the guest stay, give them something to do, give them more of an experience. So if you're looking at, for example, well, what do I do to quickly improve the performance of this property? Should I go and renovate and change out the flooring, or should I go and instead take that money and invest it into a hot tub? Almost 10 times out of 10, invested in the amenity, that's going to get you a better return. That's going to help you to make more money. Now, for some of you guys who are co-hosts on listings, you might be going, well, I can't really impact this, or I can't really change the amenities. And for a lot of you, if you just get creative and you think about which amenities you could add that would cost very little, but actually make the property more desirable, you're probably going to make it a pretty easy sell to the property owner to say, hey, Joe property owner, let's go and spend $400 on these 3 different amenities, and you're going to make that back in the first month in additional returns. You don't have to go crazy with this stuff. You can really get a lot of bang for your buck. That's why it's one of the 3 A's, is those amenities are going to give you the most leverage in optimizing the property and actually getting a good return. So you as a co-host can earn more management fees, or so that you as the actual owner of the property can just earn a better return, earn more money. Third one is going to be aesthetics. Now, it is third on the list for a reason. The aesthetics of the property are important, though there's definitely a limitation to it. So what I always remind people that if you have an incredible property, but it just is really haphazardly put together, there's no thought put into the design, it's not cohesive, it doesn't flow, it doesn't make guests feel really comfortable, they're going to be much less likely to book it. And they're going to be much less likely to actually enjoy their time there. So it is really important that you have an aesthetically well put together and aesthetically pleasing space. That is definitely a property level optimization that will pay off, though you do want to be mindful of the amount that you're actually spending on that, where you're spending the money. Again, on a property by property basis, how you actually go about improving the aesthetics of the property in order to actually make a difference on your returns, that is going to vary. So next, let's start talking about the listing level. So on a listing level, there's sort of 3 A's that you want to focus on in order to optimize the listing. One is attraction, right? Actually attracting people to click through that listing. And so one of the biggest things that I always look at when I'm first kind of auditing a listing for someone is I look at their cover photo and their listing headline. Because if those things aren't really dialed in and you're not using the right formula for them, you're not actually including the right stuff, you don't have the right layout, then you're ultimately not going to get people actually clicking through to your listing. So it doesn't really matter how well optimized everything after that point is. It doesn't matter if you have incredible photos after that. It doesn't matter if you have an amazing listing description, if your pricing is dialed in, because if people aren't actually clicking through, then you're just going to be throttling the number of bookings that you can possibly get. So you want to make sure first and foremost that people are actually clicking through. That's that attraction feature. And that really comes down to your listing headline and your listing cover photo, making sure those ones are really, really optimized. Now, next we've got answer. So once a guest gets through to your listing, to your actual listing of the property, what they're going to be looking to do is basically answer that question, should I book this property or should I eliminate it? And in order to do that, most guests are going to have a list of criteria, things that they're looking for in a property. Good Wi-Fi, they're looking for the number of beds it has, they're looking for how comfortable, how large the beds are, they're looking for what amenities it has versus the other ones that it doesn't have. And so we want to answer those questions as quickly and effectively as possible without requiring the guest to put in a bunch of work to find those answers. So another common mistake that I see a lot of people making is I'll see people make the mistake of going in and they'll include all these great details about their listing, but they're within the listing description. It's not clear. You have to go scroll down, click through the listing description, and you've got to go and read through this big, huge wall of text just to figure out that, oh, this listing actually does have a hot tub or it does have a coffee maker. And so it's really, really hard to find that information. So we want to really focus on answering the guest questions very quickly, very easily. So the best way to do that is through the photos, through listing descriptions, and through a really, really well organized listing description. So next from there, you're then going to want to acquire. You have to have a good, well-designed listing that's actually going to convert people and get them to book. So this largely has to do with your pricing and your settings that you have on Airbnb and how bookable your property really is. How far out in advance is your calendar opened up? Do you have instant book turned on? Do you have everything set up properly to actually get conversions and acquire those people? And also on the photo side of it, does it actually entice people and make them want to stay there? Can they envision themselves staying at your property? So if you can do those 3 things, if you can attract people to click through to your listing, if you can answer the questions that they have, and then you can convert them effectively, and you can do all of these to the highest degree, then now suddenly it just is a game of getting more visibility for your property and you're going to make more money. And that's what we talked about over here, the expansion of more marketing. If you go and you take what's working here and you now expand it over to another OTA, or you start doing direct bookings, now suddenly you've just got more people entering in the top of the funnel, which consistently spits out more people through the bottom. So that's where you're then going to really make a big difference and get way more bookings. I can share with you a client that we worked with, Mark. He came to us and he went through and really, really optimized his property, really dialed in listing. And then we worked through with him optimizing the pricing before launch. When he launched that property, it did tens of thousands of dollars in bookings like that. Even when I launched my most recent property, we did about $30,000 in bookings in the first 48, 72 hours because all these things were really dialed in. We took another member, Erica, who we worked with, and we took her from getting a few bookings here and there to consistently getting bookings every single day just by focusing on these two main pillars. So that is what I love. Like, that's really the definition of doing more with less. We're not going and expanding. We didn't need to buy more properties. We didn't need to go and acquire more co-hosting clients. We can literally just take what you've already got and have you making way more money, literally thousands, if not tens of thousands more dollars every single year, just by optimizing on these two pillars alone. And then the pricing, that becomes the fuel that you put on the fire. Once these pillars are in place, once you then put pricing on top of that and you really dial in and optimize your pricing, now we're unlocking another level. That's, again, now we're just charging what people are actually willing to pay for the property, not just letting money kind of slide under the table untouched. And so the first one is aim. The first kind of pillar, the first A of pricing is aim. And this is really about knowing what your target should be for your property. I am shocked at the number of people that I reach out to that are either co-hosting or they're investing in properties. And I ask them, what is your goal for the property? How much should it be bringing in per month? And they don't even know the answer to the question. They don't know how much their property could be or should be making per month. And if they don't know that, then they have no idea how much money they're leaving on the table. And the reality is, most hosts, if you just look at the stats of it, it's just statistically the case that anyone that's not in that top 20% of their respective market as a short-term rental host, you're generally leaving anywhere from $500 to $1,000, sometimes even $2,000 a month on the table just by not being in that top 20%. And so if you can really just price yourself effectively, you know where to aim, where you should actually be at, you can easily pick up $500, $1,000 more per month. Now, the second piece of that pricing equation is once you actually know the target to aim at, now you've got to analyze. You've got to be measuring where you're at relative to that target. And this can't happen on an annual basis. You can't expect to go and look at it once a year and figure out, oh, wow, I'm off pace from where I want it to be. Now let's correct. It's just going to take way, way too long to actually get really great results and actually hit your goal if you're only analyzing where you're at on an annual basis. So you want to actually come in here, I recommend on a weekly basis, and it shouldn't take, again, once we find out what to do, we create a system around it and we can automate that and we can outsource it. So the system that we create around that is going to mean that you only really need to spend 5-10 minutes per listing going in and analyzing your rates, your pricing. And then we can automate that using software, or if we want to, we can outsource it if we want to keep a human doing it. There's some really great tools out there that, as long as you know how to use them effectively, they can really, really help you out. And then from there, now that we've analyzed, we just need to adjust. So if you know what you're aiming for, and then you analyze and you know where you're at, then it becomes very obvious what adjustments to make in order to get more in alignment so you can line those two up. The ideal scenario is obviously that you're aiming for a target and you're constantly right on pace for that target. You know you're looking at it. If you're off pace, you're going to speed things up or slow things down with those little adjustments. Now, once you've done all of that, I can virtually guarantee you that with one single property, one single listing, you're going to be putting upwards of $500 a month in additional income right into your bottom line, right into your pocket. Because you got to remember, doing this stuff doesn't have additional ongoing costs. We're not talking about buying a new property. There's no more interest to pay. There's no more operational expenses. There's no more anything. There's no more cleaning fees, nothing. It's literally just going straight to your bottom line. When you charge a higher nightly rate or get a higher occupancy rate, that money goes straight to your bottom line. So this is literally going to put $500 or more into your pocket for even just one single property. If you have multiple properties, it's gonna just be orders of magnitude, right? And then now you can see that basically we've found what works here, right? We kind of checked that box. If we found what works, I just walked through. Those are the 3 things to focus on that actually work when it comes to optimizing your property, optimizing your listing, optimizing your pricing. Trust me. I've been doing this for 10 years. I've worked with thousands of different people. I can tell you I've tried everything. You don't need to wander around in the darkness trying to figure out what works. Those are the 3 core pillars that actually work. Now that you know what works, it's really then about creating a process, right? Automating, outsourcing, and then from there, you can then focus on actually expanding, right? And that's where it gets to be a lot of fun, right? Like creating the process, automating, outsourcing, that stuff, we can help you with that as well. I'm going to share with you in the next video some really, really cool ways that you can just plug and play and install this stuff into your actual business. Whether you're brand new, you're just getting started, you already have listings, whether you're co-hosting, whether you're investing, I'm going to show you how we can actually help you to find what works and actually implement all 3 A's into your specific business, right? Because like I said before, like your pricing strategy, your listing optimization, your property optimization, it's going to vary from property to property. What you should focus on stays the same, but how you actually implement it, it does differ from property to property. And then once you've got that, so I'm going to show you exactly how we can help you install that directly into your business, work with us hands-on. We can just help you with that right away. Then the cool thing is we've already created processes around all this stuff. So I'm going to share with you how you can just grab all those processes so you don't have to go through the work of that. Automating and outsourcing, it's just a matter of finding the right tool and getting it set up. And I'm going to share with you in the next video in this series how we can just point you in the right direction, go, hey, I've tried all the tools. This is the best one. And I'm actually going to share with you how you can unlock thousands of dollars in discounts and savings on those tools that are going to allow you to automate and outsource. And then I'm going to share with you, for any of you who are kind of itching right now, where you're like, man, I know this. I've already worked with James. We've already gone through this stuff. And I really just want to expand. I want to expand my marketing. I want to take things to the next level. I want some advanced strategies. I want to work on things like tax optimization, getting additional bookings, like upselling additional guests, right? Taking the guests we already have, upselling them so they spend more with us, or getting direct bookings, or doing email marketing, or using AI to even further outsource this stuff, like automate this stuff. There's so much happening in the world of Airbnb and short-term rentals. And with all the advancements going on, with all the opportunity that's out there, it's virtually endless how far you can take this. And the cool thing is, once you have this foundation in place, then being a part of that cutting edge, being a part of that community where you can learn how to really just take these to a further level and how to expand even further, it just allows you, again, to keep making more money, keep having more fun. And it really gets to a point where once these pillars are taken care of, it really is a ton of fun. It really is. You can be making incredible money. You don't have to stress about finances anymore. And your time is freed up. And that's the cool place that I love it. I love that light bulb moment when people get there, when they've got good income coming in and where they've got their time freed up. Like, I can't tell you the number of people we've worked with over the years. Brendan is another person on the co-hosting side that we've worked with, where we helped him grow from literally zero using these exact strategies, these exact systems, to now managing onwards towards 20 properties he's going to be managing by the end of this year, making $8,000 to $10,000 a month from a co-hosting business where he didn't have to buy any property. And, he really just grew it organically. He's got so much word of mouth now where, because he's doing such a good job of these core pillars, the expansion is literally just property owners are coming to him, basically knocking down his door, wanting to grow. And he's able to actually just have a real lifestyle business now where he's able to run it. He's able to do it remotely. He's able to really just have a lot of fun with it. And that's what I want to unlock for all of you guys. So in the next video in the series, I'm going to show you how I can just help you install the processes, the automation, the outsourcing right into your business, how I can help you to find what works and help you tailor it to your specific situation, your specific properties. And we're also going to show you just like advanced ways that we can help you to expand and really grow this once you get these kind of core pillars in place. So really look forward to seeing you guys over there. That video is going to be coming out in a couple of days. Keep an eye on your inbox, and I'll see you over in video number 3 of the series.